Welcome to episode 7 of Spot the Pro. This is the series where we gamify screenwriting by pitting pages from pro writers against pages from writers who are not yet professionals. As always, we've got two teams of industry professionals who will try and spot which page is which. And if their team gets the most right, they're going to get bragging rights. But there are stakes here. If they select an amateur page as a pro, then they've committed to reading that writer's first 10 pages and providing them with some feedback. So we're going to talk a lot about the craft today, and just maybe one of our up-and-coming writers will get a little bit of a boost out of this. I'm Nathan Graham Davis. I wrote the movie Aftermath. The trailer for that actually just dropped, and it'll be out very soon, so I hope you don't mind a little bit of self-promo here as I encourage you to check it out. But today, I'm going to be playing for the home team. Joining me is series regular Joe Marino. Joe is repped at Schemers Entertainment. He's got all sorts of cool stuff going on behind the scenes, some of which I think you'll hear about pretty soon. Moderating is our other series regular, Jason Gruich. He is a produced WGA writer with a number of sales under his belt. I believe Jason's goal today is to pay me back for the challenges I gave him in the last two episodes, so we will see how he does with that. So playing for the away team today, we've got screenwriter Laura Stoltz. Laura's worked in many roles for many prominent companies in the industry, including Marvel, Lucasfilm, Scott Free, many more. She co-produced the movie Man and the Wasp, and more recently, she's become a professional screenwriter. So we also included a page from her 2023 Blacklist script in episode 6. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And joining her, we've got screenwriter Jonathan E Stewart. Jonathan has written screenplays for DreamWorks, Universal, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Pixar. His produced films include Angry Birds 2, Cars 3, Scoob, and the upcoming movie Juliet. He also has a page appear on the show, and that's in episode 3, so go check out that one too. So anyway, as you can see, Joe and I are up against some pretty impressive screenwriting pedigree here, and this is going to be a fun one. So before we get into it, Jonathan and Laura, do you have any thoughts or predictions that you want to share?
I predict that Laura is going to get them all right, and I am probably I'm gonna go in with a low bar here. Instead of Laura's going to carry us for sure. That's my prediction.
Well, just so you know, in every episode that I've watched, I'm exactly wrong every single time. Even with my own page, I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm gonna say what I think, and then we should do the opposite. And I think we're gonna be.
That sounds like a solid plan.
Sounds like a good strategy.
Good strategy, yeah.
We might have to learn to roll with that one too, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Cool. Well, Jason, I think that means you're up, man.
All right. A1, fade in, the night sky, a hangnail moon, 1,000 twinkling stars. Down below is a beautiful 2-story home, cloaked in sleep. Interior, a little boy's bedroom, night. Wyatt Finch, 9, wakes with a gasp, sits up, looks around, relaxes. It's okay, it was just a nightmare. There's no monsters here. He lays down and falls back asleep, starts dreaming of a world where he's the most popular kid in school, when suddenly a hand flies into frame and covers his mouth. His eyes snap open and we reveal Mallory Finch, his mom, hovering over him with a black eye and a fresh bruise ripening on her cheek. She puts a finger to her lips to caution silence, and hallway 1 minute later, Mallory carrying Wyatt down the hall, but freezing mid-stride because up ahead, at the end of the hallway, the master bedroom, and just enough of an open door to show a man waking up, staggering out of bed. Mallory holding her breath, watching him groggily stumble across the room and disappear inside the master bathroom. Door closes, light goes on, and she moves, faster now, down the steps. That was A1. A2. In a well-lit television studio, Dr. Philip Markovsky, late 30s, impeccably dressed, sits across the desk from a talk show host, 50s, slightly less well-heeled, in front of a live studio audience. We are mid-interview, and it is not going well. Host, you're a public figure, doctor. Don't you think public figures should be held accountable? Dr. Markovsky, of course I do. Host, so when you spend millions lobbying regulators, rushing drugs to market without proper review, now hold on, my company saves countless lives while obeying every law to the letter. Host, but how much credit do you expect for that when you're the ones writing the laws? Dr. Markovsky leans forward, flashing anger. Dr. Markovsky, This vaccine represents a breathtaking advance in medical science. It will save countless, perhaps, but at what cost? Dr. Markovsky grabs a mug from the desk between them and leans back in his chair. He forces a smile. Dr. Markovsky, at some point, you just have to trust the science. Dr. Markovsky takes a sip, and so we smash two. And there's your first pair.
Those are really good, Jason.
I know.
So Joe, we're up first because we always do home team last ups here. Are you doing like a Kobayashi Maru in this one or anything like that, or is this just?
No, I'm not as diabolical as Nate.
Okay,
There's no
all right.
twist. This is going to be a straightforward.
Straightforward. All right. Joe, do you want to share thoughts first? Or you want me to roll?
You go first this time. I
Oh,
always
great.
talk first.
Fantastic.
I want to shut up this time. Listen.
I was really
Are we
hoping.
doing the 90-second? Are we doing the
Oh
90
yeah,
second
yeah.
time?
We're gonna start a timer. Crap, that's even worse.
You
All
don't
right.
have to- you don't have to like completely shut up after 90 seconds, but you know, I'll give you like
Okay.
a heads up.
Jason, just be really obnoxious and go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Timer
No,
starting.
you can keep going, but just
You're-
know, yeah, that's
You
when
should really just mute us at 90 seconds
All right.
so that we can keep going.
Well, yeah.
My instinct is A1, but it's super close. And I think the reason why in A1 is there's no dialogue. It's all visual, and it's really clear visuals right from the start. There's tension all through it. I think it makes really intentional choices with what it shows us in order to build on that intention. And it works very well because of that. And that's a hard thing to do, a first page like that. The fade in is interesting. We've talked about how that's less common these days from professionals, but I still think that's where I'm leaning. A2 is really good though. It starts out with tension immediately in the dialogue. Like I really love the opening dialogue line there. It just kind of immediately sucks you in and flows, and it's crisp. Weirdly, and this is like one of those weird detail things that doesn't matter at all, and I would never want it to get into somebody's head, but like sometimes things like you see a last name like Markovsky, if he's going to be in the script a lot, it makes me think maybe that's not the pro just because it's like long names take up more space. And like, so like if you're trying to cut page count, sometimes we go with shorter names. But like it's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, and it would never like, cause me to think differently of a script when reading it. All right. That's my instinct. A1.
All right. I also think A1. I want to lean towards. So I kind of want to cheat and just be what's written in a more interesting fashion. And so I am naturally gravitating towards A1 just because I find that scenario more interesting. But if I'm leaning into pure craft, I think I want to lean into a rule that has weirdly proven me right quite a few times here, which is which of these is written in a way where most writers wouldn't have written it that way. And I do think the presentation of A1 shows more of a unique craft to it. And it's so explosive in its cinematic intent. Just from the simplicity of starting with a kid, this might be, a monster in the closet, and all of a sudden a hand comes down. Oh, is somebody going to kidnap the kid? No, it's his mom. And then you realize, the whole scenario of it. Nothing about this is cliche or familiar in the presentation. So I am very impressed with just the presentation of it. Neither of them have anything that makes me want to point to them and go, that doesn't feel like it's coming from a writer that isn't really confident in what they're doing at this point. So yeah, I feel kind of bad that I can't be, real specific here, but I'm going to go with A1 just because of the, I think, more unique presentation of it.
All right. On to the away team.
Laura, by all means, you go for it.
I was about to say my dogs clearly have something to say. Sorry about that, guys. They're like, My instinct is number 2.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's probably number one. But I like also I also want to be a contrarian and like I want somebody to get their pages read also. So that might be contributing to this. I think both of them, I'm so excited. Like I would love to keep reading both of these. I want to see what's gonna happen. Two or one is it's all on the page or it's on the screen visually. Like you can see shot for shot exactly what this is gonna be. The editors would love this. Like they know exactly what they're cutting to. Two is very character based, which is what it's usually what I gravitate towards. I'm like, oh, there's something intense, like world stakes going on here. Clearly, there's like a vaccine and he's on a talk show. And I feel like very rarely there are doctors on talk shows. So there's something going on here, and I'm just very intrigued. And maybe it's like just this particular genre that piques my interest more. So my instinct is A2. Let's see what John has to say.
Yeah, good thought. So I'll start by talking about A2, which I agree entirely with Laura. I think there's a really interesting premise under here, and I'm definitely hooked in terms of like, okay, this could be a really cool, it's pointing in a really cool direction, and would love to see where it goes. It's obviously formatted beautifully. Everything looks great. There's a lot of white space on the page. All those things sort of check the boxes for me. What I will say is I feel like, I guess I'll stop bearing the lead here. My choice is A1 also. A2 just feels a little, well, let me pivot. I'm going to talk about A1 and then I'll come back to A2. A1, I'm with you, Joe. I love the format of this. Like, this is a very it's actually sort of an old school style of writing. Like it used to be more prevalent than it is now. Like if you look back at some of the, even like 30, 40 years ago, like scripts looked more like this than they do now. And I kind of miss it because it's so evocative. Like you said, it's very visual, the pacing with those little short stubs of when suddenly and that sort of thing. And, having hallway, like it's very stark, but very evocative again, like I said. So I think that's sort of my first tell. But in addition to that, and in addition to everything that everybody else has already said about it, everything that happens here is in the subtext. It's not telling us anything. It's showing us everything. And we understand what this situation is by virtue of the clues that have been left by the writer. So to me, that's a hallmark of good writing right there. So I feel pretty bullish on this one that A1 is the pro. But back to A2 for just a couple seconds. The thing that also gives this one away for me is that the dialogue does feel a little, where the first one is very subtextual, this one is a little more on the nose. Like there's a little bit more telling, like there's a little bit more leading in this, even the dialogue or the description line, like we're mid-interview and it's not going well. Like it's not that you can't do that, but already I'm feeling like, okay, you're telling me what's happening here as opposed to me gathering what's going on here. And same thing with like the flashing anger and, grabbing a mug, like all those things, they feel feels like, this is a developing writer, like you're moving in the right direction. I think there's a lot of promise here, but I think it feels a little bit less of the super pro level as the A1.
Well, we all know that I'm going against instinct, so I will jump on in your boat, John. I will go with A1 as well.
All right. Well, let's see how it goes.
All right. Well, A1 was the pro.
Oh, all right.
That is a script called Shivers by Seth Wimmer. And Seth is a professional writer based in Austin. His past clients include Warner Brothers, CBS, MTV, Disney, Maker Studios, and Universal. And he's got some recent options. The Last God on Hell Mountain, Darkest Place to Die, and this script, Shivers. And he's repped at Schemers along with our very own Joe Marino.
Oh, look at that. Any relation to
How
Kurt?
have I not read this? He's holding out on me. He's been holding out on me. That's, oh man.
So you guys know Seth. Okay, got it.
Yes, Seth's truly one of the best writers I've ever read. I've read a ton of his stuff. He's just amazing. And this is a script I haven't read yet, but he supplied it for us and threw it in the gauntlet. So
Cool.
Wow.
the second script is from Josh Barkey, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
called. Yeah, I've actually read this entire script. It's called Best Apocalypse Ever, and the
I've
log
heard
line
of that
is
script.
yeah, in a post-pandemic wasteland that's mostly his fault, a former pharmaceuticals billionaire is taken prisoner by a badass woman who thinks death's too easy for a grade A bastard like him.
That's pretty fun.
And it's an amazing script. I can vouch for it. Josh is a very talented writer. Nickel, Page, Screencraft finalist, Page, gold and silver winner, AFF, Big Break semifinalist, Sundance and Tribeca selected. He's produced 6 shorts and a feature. He's a former barefoot Amazonian jungle boy / former industrial tree planter, and he's currently a North Carolina redneck.
All right.
I'm
Awesome.
also a North Carolina redneck.
Well, look at that.
His words. Yeah. I love Josh. Great writer.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great first pair.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we jump into 2 or B?
Yep. B1. Interior, bedroom, night. A bedside lamp casts the room in a warm, cozy amber hue. On the bed rests Jessica Price, mid-20s. She wears a neck brace, has both legs in plaster. She works her way through a pile of get well soon cards. Some are store-bought, but most are handmade and childlike. As she tears open another envelope, we glimpse the bed's distinctive headboard with its carved images of a crow, lily, and a cross, each one a symbol of death. Jessica admires a card with a picture of a stick lady lying on a bed surrounded by little hearts colored in red crayon. She opens the card, reads the crudely written inscription. To the bestest teacher in the whole world, love Emily, XXXX. Jessica smiles warmly at the cute inscription. She lets out a yawn, takes her glasses off, and rubs her tired eyes. She puts the pile of greeting cards down, uses the remote to adjust the mechanical recovery bed to a sleep position. She kills the light. Inky blackness smothers the room. Later, dark, peaceful, Jessica lies in a deep slumber. Suddenly, beneath the mattress, the wooden panel at the end of the bed slowly lowers like a medieval castle's drawbridge. A dark shape emerges from a secret compartment concealed in the base of the bed. Its long, bony fingers shoot out. The leathery skin has extensive scarring from third-degree burns. Almost 7 feet long, it slides across the floor on its stomach like a serpent. But this is no snake. It's an intruder.
Cool.
B2. A black abyss. A distant scream of panic grows louder as an ancient elevator car plummets toward us through dark, oily clouds. Mayor Gimbel off screen. Up, I said up! And plunges toward a foreboding red glow far below. In the elevator, pressed into the corner, sweat pours off Mayor Gimbel's terrified face. The muzak from the tiny speaker fails to soothe his nerves. Holding a clipboard is Kate Young, 30-ish, in a drab gray uniform. Hair tucked under her cap, she looks despondent. Her uniform crest reads, Purgatory Delivery Service. Gimbel lunges for the controls, only 2 buttons, a halo and a pitchfork. His finger stabs the halo like a jackhammer. In the black abyss, brakes screech, sparks fly. The elevator lands with a thud. Kate yanks open the door as a blast of heat hits them. Mayor Gimbel. Okay, I confess. I embezzled a few bucks, maybe a little fraud, and I expropriated that land from the old widow. Kate, total disdain. It's an elevator, not a confessional. Mayor Gimbel. Well, it's not like I killed anybody. Kate steadies her nerves, then steps out into the red glow. This way, Mayor Gimbel. Mayor Gimbel. A little compassion wouldn't hurt, but she has none left. He reluctantly follows her out. They hesitate. Up ahead are the red-hot gates of hell. There's your second pair.
Cool.
This pair got my cat's attention, so
Nice.
I'm leaning in.
All right. Well, you're up first. You can put the cat right back there if they have something to say.
He loves everything, so
Nice.
He's no good judge of anything. I'll jump in first on this one. This one's tough. I think these are both super, super well written, evocative. Feels like the writer's got a real handle of the craft in both of these. When having done these contests before, this 1-page thing, it's difficult because it's rare that you have a first page that's just gonna have everything in it all at once. So sometimes I wonder if there's maybe something behind. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
No, keep going. No, I like this. Actually, take a little longer. Keep
All
going.
right. Okay. So
This is interesting.
yeah. So I think, I mean, like so I'm going to talk about B1 first, I guess, which is, there's a whole setup here. It's super interesting. We're wondering what happened to this Jessica Price. She's also, she's a teacher. She's got students. Maybe this Emily is even like a little obsessive, who knows, but we don't know that yet. And then this intruder / monster comes in. Like there's a lot going on this first page, and in a really cool way. Like it definitely pulls me in. But I also kind of wonder if like it feels like it was a little crafted to be a one pager. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm trying to get at, I think, is that pros who have one page, like when I did this, for example, I was like, let me look through all my scripts that this might qualify for and find the first page that could work, because normally it takes like a couple of pages to really get a full thought through or whatever. So anyway, this is probably not the right way to think about it, but that's just part of what's going into my head here.
I love it.
The second part of it is I also think about like what is actually sort of feasible in the marketplace, and the type of material that aspiring professionals might be writing versus what actual professionals are writing. And from that perspective too, I think B2 speaks to me a little bit more. They're both quirky, they're both weird, they both are sort of not down the middle. But B2 to me feels like it feels a little more like it's actually like industry level. Like this is a pro script. But again, that's not to take anything off the first one for me, because I think the first one is great too. But I guess all that said, and that rambling mess of thought, I think B2 would be my thought on this one.
That was like scriptception. My mind is blown. I'm just like trying to look at these from a different point of view now. I agree.
That was great, Jonathan.
Yeah, that was amazing. Wow. So I kind of had the same thought. So like submitting a page, I was like, I usually give myself 3 to 5 pages to really hook somebody in. I never really thought about the first page as much. So thank you. And I also hate you guys for like making me go back through all my first pages to be like, what if this is the only page?
Just so you know, we've all done that too. Like as a result of this, like we've all got it. We're like, oh, this page probably wouldn't make the cut on the show. Like, so
it's so true. And it's that thing where it's like, if your printed script got caught in a tornado and one page ended up on a producer's front yard, like would that one page, whether it's the first page or a random page, make him want to track you down? Like it's just creating more work for myself, and I fucking hate it. Like I hate you guys.
By the way, Laura, very, very quickly, Laura, I would totally watch a Cinderella-esque story where instead of a glass slipper, it's the first page of a script that's left behind. And he's like, I will find this writer. I will find her.
Although in reality, it would just get blown away by the leaf blower. So,
Take it, Joe. The concept's all yours. You go right ahead.
It's a little like Big Fat Liar, which my kids have gotten into lately for some reason. So
that's so interesting. Such a deep cut. My kids love Angry Birds too. So
there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So my gut is B2, which we all know what that means, but maybe just maybe my gut is right on this one. My thoughts are just, I totally agree. So the B1, I feel like it could have been shrink wrapped just a little bit in terms of some of the action stuff. And it was like drawn out a little bit so that the bottom of that page is like you got them. And it could work. Like that could be great. That could just be the writer's style. Totally get it. But it did feel like we're building and I got them, which great, kudos. And 2 is just maybe personal preference. Like I love that kind of like heaven or hell, like, The Good Place was a very hot show. Like I just kind of, it's such an interesting setting for some really cool characters. And this Kate person, I'm so into it. I want that job. How do I get that job? But yeah, I'm gonna say B2 just because I was leaning in just a little bit more.
Cool. Joe,
All
you're
right.
up first then.
All right. Both of those are excellent points. I think it really does come down to the high concepts versus the makeability element for me, because I can see both of these being slam dunk ideas for both sides of that. So I can't really judge based on concepts, because I think the concepts are pretty evenly matched for their market. I think that B2 has more of a difficulty level to reach to make this as easily readable as it is, and it is. It's very easy to visualize it, and it's harder to have an audience visualize that. But there is something so genuinely unsettling about the B1, just that sense of dread that feels highly crafted as well. And I also just really like the I can see so many different ways you could have presented somebody crawling out of under a bed. And that last, 4 or 5 paragraphs of B1 is so clear and so, awesome for how creepy it is. I think I'm going to lean into towards B1, but Nate, I think you can very easily convince me otherwise. I just think that I'm slightly more impressed with the craft level there, which seems very counterintuitive to what I said, because B2 has so much more that it has to achieve to make it clear. But I think I'm just going to lean into that being the I'm sorry. I changed my mind. I suck. B2.
Okay. But I mean, that's good. It means that like B1 impressed you either way. But like B2 is my pick as well. So, it's interesting. Like, I think, so let me talk about B2 first. So the way it opens, like the distant scream of panic grows louder as an ancient elevator car plummets toward us. Like that's an image just immediately wakes you up, right? And then like up, I said up. Okay, now I've got a sense of tone. So right there at the top of the page, I feel like I've got an idea of what I'm in for, and I'm pretty interested in it. And then like we get to and then right below that we've got a red glow, and you're like, oh wait, this isn't a normal elevator. So I mean, again, like every line is just pulling me in more. And then we hit Purgatory Delivery Service, and I'm like, I have not seen this movie, and I want to see this movie so bad. So all of that is really, really strong to me. The only thing I really bumped on this page was I felt like the first line of dialogue felt a little bit overwritten, but other than that, I mean, it really sucked me in, and I'm super excited about it. Whereas like the first page, to me, like this totally feels like it could be the start of something very makeable. And a lot of it is really strong, but both John and Laura pointed out things that had also occurred to me. One being that the beginning of it did feel a little bit overwritten, like you could have compressed some of that there. But two, and I was trying to figure out how to articulate this too, so I'm so glad that John went for it. Was like the pacing feels off, and this is an instinctual thing, right? And it's it is a little bit tough to define, but like it either feels like this movie wanted to open with just a quick shot of the woman lying asleep and then like the monster coming out, or you needed like another beat or two at least after looking at the cards and everything before you flowed into that new thing. Like it felt a little bit like you had two different ideas that were juxtaposed in an awkward way to me. And it just didn't have the same flow to me as whereas like, B2 just flowed all the way through. So for me, B2 is the pick.
I get that. I just want to say I do think that what that first page achieves is really impressive.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's like, we should say this at the beginning of every episode. Pretty much like because of the quality of pages that we're aiming for here, like we're looking at like nitpicks, it's this is still a page one that's going to get me to turn to page two, and
I would turn for both of these.
yeah.
All right, so that's your final answers?
For me, it is. Joe, are you good with B2?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, both teams are 2 for 2.
All right.
B1 is from a writer. His name is Gary Rowlands, and the title is Deathbed. The log
Awesome.
line is an incapacitated young nurse must fight for her life when her new bed is used as a Trojan horse by a murderous psychopath. He's born.
I think that's a really cool concept. Like,
It
yeah,
is.
I
really
loved when I read that page. I instantly picked it.
It feels like
I'm a big fan of
Blumhouse would be
Contained.
all about that
Yeah.
or something, So
Yeah. He's born and raised in Wales. He's a produced screenwriter. He appeared on the 2021 Lugnut list, and he has a contained sci-fi thriller, Cancer. It's called Cancer, in pre-production right now.
wow, good for him. That's awesome.
Yep.
Love the
And-
title, Deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great title.
Mhm.
It's one of those that you're like, how's that not been used before?
Mm-hmm.
No, it reminds me
Fantastic.
Misery a little bit too.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly
I love
it. Yeah. And scripts like Buried, or those movies like Buried, was one of my favorite Contained movies.
I also really like the
that
idea
concept.
of this creepy bed that has these 3 insignias on it that are just very creepy, inherently creepy. Like it's a creepy ass bed that like I like all of that.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And so the pro script was called Eternally Yours by pro writer Keith Davidson. He's won
Nice.
early on. He won a bunch of big screenwriting contests, Disney Fellowship, Warner Brothers, which helped him get an agent. He ended up selling a horror script to Universal Studios. He's optioned over 5 scripts. He wrote and directed 3 award-winning short films and had some plays produced. He's a screenwriting instructor for 10 years at the Canadian Screen Training Center, and his first graphic novel is just weeks away from being finished. So he turned one of his older scripts into a graphic novel that's about to release. And he's actually looking for a manager. So if
Cool.
he's been around the game a while.
I know at least a few watch this, so great.
That's what I told him.
Cool. Awesome.
Right.
That was another really good pair.
Yeah, on to see. All right. Exterior, Malibu mansion, afternoon. Concrete walls, steel beams, floor-to-ceiling windows, 2 stories of cold, modern opulence. An oily crow glides into frame, lands atop a pumpkin sitting on the home's front porch. Its black, beady eyes dart around. Call, call. Violent. Grating bird calls from overhead. The crow leaps off the pumpkin and flaps its glossy black wings skyward, rejoining its flock as they soar over the backyard. An infinity pool overlooks sun-baked mountains and the shimmering blue ocean. The home of the closest neighbor is a mile away. No one in earshot, no one to hear you scream. A sleepy German shepherd suns by the pool as Rick Rivers lines up a putt on an immaculate putting green. Tan, middle-aged, Ralph Lauren from polo to socks, he knows his scotch. Rick, eyeing the hole. I got you. Rick jerks up, places a hand in one of his earbuds. Rick, what? No, Don, escorts aren't contract labor. From here on, you do as your lawyer does. Pay in cash. Rick sets his feet again, lines up a shot. He swings, and the dog jumps up, barks, and growls in Rick's direction. Startled, Rick puts the ball into the pool. Plop. Rick, shit. A dark figure darts behind Rick, slinks out of view. No, not you. Listen to, hello? Rick flings his club and checks his phone. No bars. Bark. Rick turns around. No one. Back to the dog. Rick. Hungry, Jack? C2. Exterior, opera house, night. Men and women of class and distinction walk up a massive set of steps and into a beautiful old building. Prelap. The shrill, abrasive sounds of opera. Interior, opera house, night. A female opera singer bellows on stage for a captivated audience in formal attire. Interior opera house lobby, same time. In the lobby, things are quiet until the front doors fly open, seemingly by themselves. A gust of wind blows in, and then a shadowy assassin materializes. We can't see his face, but we do see his impeccable suit, his sleek watch, and the silencer attached to his 9mm. We follow him through the lobby as he approaches a burgundy-suited man from behind. Without fanfare, he shoots the man through the neck. The man goes down, but not before we freeze on his face. Steve, voiceover. Carl Carlson, heck of a squash player, was just about to hit his reading goal for the month, but this dude shot him in the neck. Unfreeze as poor Carl hits the ground. The assassin continues through the lobby, having now garnered the attention of more goons in burgundy suits. One comes at him. Bang! The assassin effortlessly drops him. We freeze on him too. Steve, voiceover. Nick Nichols, really sweet guy, avid gardener, brought me a doggy bag of tomatoes when he grew too many. Unfreeze. He hits the floor. The rate of carnage escalates now. They keep coming at him, but the assassin gracefully moves through the space, mowing down poor souls. You might confuse it for a ballet if it weren't for all the murder.
Awesome.
One,
I'll go.
let's see, 1 and 2.
I'll go first on this one, Joe, because I just had the most bizarre experience. So we've done what, 50 pages now on this show. Like C1, like at least for the opening half, and I'm so sorry to the writer for saying this if this is insulting. I felt like I was reading something that I'd written while also knowing that I'd never written it. Like I've never read something that felt like it was in my voice as much. It was just so trippy. Like the first few paragraphs down to the bolded and underlined slug lines too. I don't know. It was just bizarre. So I was really hoping that like I didn't have to like lean into this one for like ego sake alone.
Reads with the professional polish.
But then like, it shifted a little bit. Like the dialogue, I think is different and probably better than I would have written it. I really enjoyed the second line there. Like I think it got a chuckle out of all of us.
The short-term contract labor is fantastic.
But aside from all that, like I do think that's the pro. And there were a couple things in C2 that kind of popped out to me as like not bad. But like one is that, well, first of all, I do want to say I think the voiceover is very fun and it lends a unique tone to this page that I haven't seen before. But like the choice to open in the opera house and then have an assassination in there, that feels pretty like standard. And then it's just like there's little things that are overwritten, like it says in the slug line it's the lobby, and then it's like in the lobby things are quiet, right? There are a lot of little things like that that just feel overwritten, and I think by the time somebody's gotten to a professional level tend to be like those tend to be cleaned out. Could be wrong. I mean, there's a lot about this to like, but that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Okay. I'm also going to go with C1. I do like C2, but I think for me, similarly, I think that it's taking a lot of time to say something very simple. And I don't know if the gimmick that I'm getting of here's who the nameless goons are, it is enough to be like, oh, I am locked in on the presentation of this. I feel like I've already seen this as well, like, even something as bad as Austin Powers. So it's not quite as unique of a joke to lean on completely. And the first page is completely leaning on that joke. It's not trying to do anything else other than that. So I don't think I'm buying into the one joke that I'm getting for the page. And it again, just slightly overwritten. C1, I think, yeah, I mean, just for the fact that I had it's always nice when you get a out loud reaction to something, and I always appreciate those when they pop up. I like that I don't quite have I don't quite know what the genre is. I'm assuming horror just because like a dark figure darts behind Rick slinks out of you. That's usually the horror beat. So it might be more of a traditional, teaser of person being killed. But I do think that it knows that it shouldn't be spending too much time on this. So it's moving very quickly in comparison. If this is something that's more of your traditional go with the flow kill teaser, I like the pacing a lot more. It's not overstaying its welcome, and C2 does. So I think that'll be why I'm making my leaning.
All right, away team.
Laura, go ahead on this one if you like.
This is so hard. See, okay, so this is why I can't get on Instagram that often because I'm so easily influenced. Like listening to you guys, I was
Same.
like, such good points. You're so right. I what did you guys say? What did you
So,
what?
so we
said
picked C1.
C2.
So we picked
Okay. What?
what?
No, I'm just joking. We said C1.
No,
That's awesome.
C1, sir.
Okay, okay, so I'm gonna put my producer hat on for just a second. If I had these two scripts and I was having to read them to see which to produce, I automatically know page 2 is like high budget. Like this is very stylized. I get what this is. We're gonna have to rent out this opera house. We're gonna be spending a lot of money on these like one shot kind of things. Which is fine. Like I know exactly what this script is, I think. Page 1 though, I'm trying to think of a house in Malibu, much like my own. I'm just kidding. Where, it's like it's got a view of the ocean and the mountains, and there's no other house within a mile. I feel like even the big mansions you go to in Malibu, like there's a house next door with zebras or some weird shit, like there's like I feel like there's always like whatever. So I think I was thinking too much, like that first half a page. I was like, oh, is there a house in Malibu that's that? And also like good luck directing a crow, or you get it CGI and like the budget, like if this is a horrors like obviously benefit from being a little bit lower budget, but I'm already seeing a lot of money being spent here. So I think maybe it's a writer who just like I don't know, guys. Can somebody mute me? I don't know. I'm
that's
just
really
like,
great.
Hey, no, you are fantastic. You are fantastic. Keep
I
going.
love
Keep it
the
going.
production. I love the production perspective on it
Okay.
too.
I did too.
And
Yeah.
it's a
It says
valid of a presentation on anything else, because it's what are the things that make you lean in or lean away from what you're reading. And it can be craft, it can be story, it can be a character. We had that one beat with John Zelzerny where it was I didn't like how bitch was used in the description lines. You don't know what it is. It could be anything. So no, I love this presentation, this perspective. So no, don't poo-poo what you're doing. You're doing great.
okay. So that's just my thing. I'm thinking of like directing a crow, CGI crows. You're gonna have animal handlers. Like this is a lot to do for a horror. So I don't really know, but I laughed like on both of these. They have a laugh out loud thing. The escorts aren't contract labor. You know exactly who these types of people are. And on the second one, I love he was just about to hit his reading goal for the month. Like that sucks, because I'm so gripped by the tone. I don't know which one it is, but if I had to like, my instinct for professional writer is the first one, but I don't know. I'm going to say C1, but I'm not confident.
Yeah,
We're never confident.
I'm with you, Laura. I think it's C1 too. My hat's off to you, Jason, on this pairing because I think it's it's a tough one. I agree with Joe. I think there are a couple little tells on C2 that just feel that that lobby in the lobby thing is it's a big pet peeve of mine too. But the funny thing is though that there are totally been in the industry forever writers that still do shit like that.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like you can get away with all kinds of things after a while. But like I would never do that in my own writing. I would never leave the orphan many in the last period of or last thing of dialogue down there. But that's those are little meticulous things that I do, and I know a lot of people don't. I love I guess I should say I really enjoyed both of these scenes. I really like the dialogue in the second one. I feel like it's very snappy. It's very like of the moment. It feels very I'm watching Bad Monkey right now, and it's got that kind of poppy snap to it, which is really fun. And I'm also like, who is this narrator? It's not the guy doing the shooting, right? So that's also sort of interesting to me too. I want to know a little bit more about that. but yeah, the first one is just, it feels very clean. It feels to me like horror comedy, just because of, all the way down to the missed putt going all the way off into the pool. Like that's a very broad beat in the middle of this thing. You know what I mean? But it's funny, right? It's like shit. He was so distracted that he putted it all the way into the pool. So anyway, I felt like we were in pro hands on that first one, and but the second one was great. So that's my take on these.
Awesome. So everybody picked C1 as the pro, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Everybody is wrong.
Wow. All right. It's about time.
I know.
Fantastic.
I'm going to say Laura was the most right out of all of us.
That's true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done.
So the first page was from Max Bell, and the title is Dead Stop. The log
I
line.
know who Max Bell is. Yeah.
Yeah, the log line is 4 friends driving to a concert must survive rush hour traffic in Los Angeles and killers who threaten to strike whenever they stop the car. It's Scream meets Speed with a splatter of Saw. His bio is Max is a Los Angeles-based writer. His journalistic work has appeared in the Los Angeles Times, The Ringer, Spin, among many others. His short stories Doppel and Recovery were published in the New Ohio Review and nominated for the Pushcart Prize.
I just want to say, I feel like an idiot for saying out loud that felt like reading something in my own voice. It was just such a bizarre experience that should have been filed under the stuff that you don't like. Yeah. It was weird though.
Well, it works now. It works.
I hope
now.
I didn't insult Max too much.
And the proscript was from Daniel Gold, and it's called Henchman. Daniel is a Toronto-based TV writer and producer. He's best known for his work on all 7 seasons of the international Emmy-nominated comedy series Working Moms, which was on Netflix and CBC, where he recently finished the 7th and final season as supervising producer. He's got 3 features and 3 series in various states of development and is represented by Underground Management in the U.S. and the Characters Talent Agency in Canada.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Moving along to the last pair. Yes.
Let's go.
All right. D1, Fade In, interior colonial home, living room, night. East Coast charm with a contemporary flourish, worthy of an architectural digest spread. A side window slides open. Trip Esposito climbs inside, a skinny framed boy of 17. His eyes are darting with anxiety. His shoulders are cinched with stress. His demeanor is one of self-doubt. Trip, sorry, we have to avoid the ring cameras. I'll be grounded if my dad catches me out on a school night. Sarah follows him through the window. They may be the same age, but she has a mature self-assuredness Trip can only dream of. Also, she's way out of his league. Sarah, Trip, stop apologizing. Trip, sorry. Go hop in the shower while I change into something more comfortable. Trip, you brought a change of clothes? She plants a sensual tongue kiss on Trip to shut him up before gently pushing him toward the staircase. As soon as Trip disappears up the stairs, we move with Sarah through the first floor. She pokes her head into a room, then another. She's searching for something. Interior, colonial home, Trip's bathroom, night. Trip hypes himself up as he turns on the shower. Come on, you got this. Don't be a pussy-ass bitch. You could do it. Takes a breath, but only if you have enthusiastic verbal consent. Consent is sexy. Another breath. D2. Over Black, Polly, voiceover. It was 2nd grade, I think, Catholic school. St. Luke's down on Sullivan Street. I had this nun, Sister Mary. Interior, a Catholic school classroom day. Sister Mary in full-on black habit stands before a class of seated 7-year-olds. Polly, voiceover. Anyway, one day she draws these 2 circles on the blackboard. One she fills with white chalk, the other she leaves empty, black. Then she turns to the little blonde girl who always sat in the seat next to me and says, "You see this?" Smiling down at the most angelic-looking little blonde girl, Sister Mary points to the white circle on the blackboard. "This is your soul." Polly, voiceover. Fair enough, right? I mean, this little girl, there was something kind of perfect about her. But then Sister Mary looks at me. Frowning, Sister Mary glares down at an innocent-looking little boy with the biggest brown eyes you've ever seen. Polly, voiceover. She points to the other circle and she says, "Now this one, Sister Mary, this is your soul." A look of abject confusion clouds the little boy's eyes as all his classmates snicker, all except the little blonde girl. Polly, voiceover. Tell me, what kind of thing is that to say to a 7-year-old? And what did she mean anyway? That my soul was empty? That it was the color of the blackboard? Bolting from his seat, the boy runs out of the classroom.
What a dick teacher.
That's it.
All right.
All right. So are we up on this
You're
one
up.
first?
I think the away team's up. Yes.
All right. Well, I think again, Joe or Jason, sorry, nice job on pairing these up. They're very different. They both have a lot going for them. Yeah, I'm gonna jump right out of the gate and say I think the pro one is D2. And I think the reasoning for me on that one is, it's obviously setting up this character, who Polly is and what the rest of the story is going to look like. Who knows? But it's a very, it's a very evocative sort of opening, childhood opening of this thing. It also just, there's so many like little tells on this thing that I love. Like it's, it looks like it was written some time ago, probably. It's got a slightly different font to it than the typical FDX 12 font that we see today. This is a good example of one of those things I was talking about last time, which is that, pro writers often don't, like, syntax is not always perfect. There's a lot of ellipses here. There's like, sometimes there's, one space after a thing. The dead giveaway to me that this is not a Gen Z writer is that there are two spaces after periods, and question marks here. A writer after my own heart. But then back to D1, I do think this is, I understand what's going on here. Sarah's up to, some sort of subterfuge here. Feels contemporary, feels, we've got Ring cameras and consent is sexy. That all feels very sort of in the zeitgeist of the moment sort of thing. And it just feels, it feels a little more like it's the aspiring one to me. I think that's, there's nothing discernible I can point to other than the second one to me feels totally old school, and I think that might be what I'm glomming onto the most here.
I agree. Yeah, the second one looks like when you're researching and you're digging back through archives and you see kind of the older but beside just the visual of that, I agree. I think D2 is the pro. Both are about very formative experiences in these guys' lives. One of them I relate to, one of them not so much, only because, like, are 17-year-olds like doing this kind of thing? Like, am I just like the prudish, like, Southerner who's like, oh my God, like, do you like, so I feel like it was a little more mature than maybe an actual 17-year-old would be, but that could also just be my own, like, Southern guilt bias kind of thing coming in. I'm not sure. So that's the only thing that kind of took me out of the first one. Otherwise, like, I'm leaning in. I want to see what's going to happen with these people. I want to know what makes this guy tick. Like, why is he talking to himself like that? Like, you deserve so much more. But the second one, I feel like this kind of experience for a 7-year-old, like, there was a higher up in a religious community when I was very young who told me I was going to hell. And I literally think about that so often. So I'm so attached to this script and I want to read it no matter what, just because I'm like, I feel you, like, I understand. And I just want to see what happens to him, because maybe that's going to happen to me. I don't know. So anyway, again, I'm rambling, but I think this is just a gut, like, I don't necessarily have things to point to. I think the action lines in one could have been a little, I'm going to use shrink wrapped a lot in this thing. Like, it's not a branded partnership. I just need, I don't know. I needed it to be a little more concise in the first one. But both I'm really into, and I just, My soul says D2.
It's funny. It's funny, Laura. I thought when you said you instantly related to one of these over the other, I thought it was that you were, you had this like side gig of robbing houses on the slide. So
You never know. You never know.
Joe,
right.
you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm a very enthusiastic D2 on this one. There's nothing wrong with D1. It is exactly what it is and what it's going out to do. But there's an emotional space that I can enter sometimes where this, like within a couple paragraphs, I realize I am in the hands of a, not even just like spot the pro level, but like pro. Like I am literally just going to sit back and just let this wash over me. And this one hit me with that special brand of like, yeah, you're going to have a good time. Everything about it is just, this is, and I also want to lean into what Jonathan had said about the first set, where he's like, you read certain scripts and they read a way that you miss the way scripts used to read. And this is it, even down to like it just being an older, like the older font and the, it reads like a script I could open up from 1995 or 1982 and just be like, okay, I'm locked in. And I just adore that. It's very Stephen King as well. Just this whole idea of this person damning you at an age where you don't even really understand it, and where it's just the righteous indignation of it. I'm emotionally locked in. I can see it so clearly. It has such a voice and such a inescapable dread to it. I couldn't love it more. Just couldn't. It's amazing. I want to read this one no matter what as well. So 100% D2. Everything about it works for me.
I'm the same, D2. And the biggest reason why we talk a lot about confidence on this show, and to me, this is a very hard thing to do well, and it's done incredibly well here, which is the writer trusts the reader so much by they've got something on screen. So visually it's going to be shown, right? Which is the black circle and the white circle. But they don't even describe it in the action lines. They just describe it in the dialogue. And, and then they describe Sister Mary pointing to the white circle later. So, but like, you're filling that in as you're reading it. Like you get it. Like there's no gap there. But I don't think I would have made that decision. I think I would have described it in the action lines. There's just so much confidence in doing that. And it's really, really impressive to me. Like there's just no doubt that this is the one. Happy to be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. What's funny is when we scrolled to it, I instantly thought it was the amateur for one very simple formatting reason, which was that there was a page 1 number up at the top, which I was like, oh, this was written in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. But now it just tells me that maybe this is from a pre-screenwriting formatting software era, which makes me think I might even know who the writer is, because Jason's got a friend and mentor with some of those scripts in his back pocket. So I'm curious.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. But anyway, I'm interested
using the insider knowledge here. I'm gonna call foul on that.
So what if I told you were all wrong?
It'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting.
You were all correct, though. Yes.
Okay.
The first script was from Tommy Lee. It's called Friday Night Wise Guy.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
The log line for that is: the uptight teenage son of a U.S. attorney finds himself the hostage of a reckless gangster who wants to use him as leverage to get his mafia don father released from custody. I've actually read this script and another one by him. He reached out after one of the Spot the Pro episodes, and we've kind of become friendly. And I wanted to use one of his pages because I think he's an exciting new talent. He's repped at Gersh. He's got a lot of active development. He's got a lot of projects actively developing with various studios and production companies. He's based in LA. He's from DC. His parents sent him to the same elite boarding school that the Kennedys attended, but that didn't quite work out. So he ended up at University of Miami, pledged a black fraternity, became the president, mostly because he was good with paperwork. He's a real fish out of water story and mines his drama and humor from characters who struggle with their identities and sense of place in this world. But like Thomas in real life, his characters have a relentless optimism that allows them to keep failing forward in pursuit of their goals. Tommy's a good dude, great writer. The proscript was from, yes, friend and who I think is a master, Louis Vanosta.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yep.
Nice
I
job.
almost called it ahead of time.
This is actually a script that I have not read. He sent me one that I hadn't, that I had not read. It's called Aromas and Infidels. For those who aren't familiar with Louis Vanosta, he is a writer, director, native New Yorker. He began his career in the theater and dance world, appearing with the Joffrey Ballet, Maurice Bejar's ballet, the Puerto Rican Dance Theater, and Louis Falco's dance company, which led to his role as a dancer in Alan Parker's fame, principal dancer. He's a proud alumni of Miriam Colon's Puerto Rican Traveling Theater Playwrights Unit. He's written screenplays for every major Hollywood studio, including The Last Dragon and Bird on a Wire, starring Mel Gibson and Goldie Hawn. Vanosta's film directing debut, The Coriolis Effect, premiered at Sundance before winning the Silver Lion for Best Short at Venice, the Venice Film Festival in '94. And his television directing debut came in 2017 on Grey's Anatomy for the episode Don't Stop Me Now. He splits his time living and working in New York City and Jalisco, Mexico.
All
Awesome.
right.
Awesome.
Wow. What a page.
Yeah.
Really great.
Is in one of these.
I want to circle back to Tommy's too. There was one thing that I thought was very cool on that I should have mentioned while I was still talking, which I enjoyed the dichotomy, or what appeared to be a dichotomy of Tripp's character, where he was this very apologetic, like kind of meek guy, and then like when he got by himself, he's like, don't be a pussy ass bitch, like, and like it's like, whoa, okay, who is this guy, right? And like so suddenly I was very curious, like, is that going to be consistent, and we're going to see this kind of like this interesting character dichotomy and flaw, or I was interested to see where that went. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out too.
I think
cool.
Tommy captures. I've read 2 of his scripts now. He captures like youth, and there's a freshness to his writing that I haven't seen in a while. And he's got some big things like in the works. So I think he's going to be an amateur for much longer.
I think that's true.
Sounds like he's one phone call away from
He's
not changing.
I mean, I would say, just based on first pages alone, that's probably true for the majority of the first pages
Most
that you
of them,
picked here. So
Hell yeah.
great stuff.
Great batch.
So awesome. Thank you so much for being on this, Laura and Jonathan. Do you have any final thoughts, or anything that you want to share for everybody who's watching?
Go ahead, Laura.
Oh boy. No, I think I already said it. Really, just like, thank you guys so much for doing this, because it's really just made me look at my own work in a different way, and just really go back to my first pages and think, like, if this is the only page somebody writes or somebody reads, then I need to make it fucking good. So it's just, yeah, thank you guys. That's all.
It's ridiculously fun doing it, and we're grateful to have you on here. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I echo all that. This has been a lot of fun. It's cool to see. It's cool just to hear other writers' voices and see what people are doing and what kinds of ideas people are coming up with and how they're executing those, and and likewise see what has worked for other writers. So it's got a really good formula going on for this thing, and it's been a real pleasure to be on the show and get to meet you guys and you, Laura. And yeah, I'm around on Twitter on and off, but or X, I guess we're calling it now. But yeah,
I refuse. I refuse.
Where
it's just
where
so
or how can people
wrong.
find you both? Yeah.
I'm JESTEW3 on Twitter, or my website's easier to remember, which is just jstew.com.
You got jstew.com? That's impressive. So
Yeah,
how long ago did you have to register that?
I was not super early into the game, as you might think. It wasn't like a 1997.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
That.
5 characters.
I got lucky around like the mid-aughts and picked that one up.
All right, it's still pretty early. That's good.
Hell yeah.
I'm at LE Stoltz at whatever, like all the things. I'm rarely on there. sometimes you'll find me lurking, but I try not to. I have to write, guys. Like I can't
Hear
be
ya.
on social media. What are you talking about?
I
Nate,
so
Nate
true.
gets that. Nate gets that.
I just
Nate
deleted all of
understands
mine like
that.
2 weeks ago because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need more time to write.
Deleted
So,
it all.
Yep.
Deleted it all.
Just the YouTube now.
Yeah.
I'm not brave enough to get rid of. I'm really proud of that. The follow-me count. I don't want to get.
John, I wanted to ask, what's your cat's name? If you didn't already give it, I was
Oh
curious.
yes. So my cat's this cat was named by my daughter, who was like 4 years old when we picked up the cat, and his name is Purr.
Perfect.
And Purr purrs all the time, so he lives up to his namesake. Our other cat, also named by my daughter, is Meow, and Meow ironically does not meow at all. So
That's amazing.
they're a good duo.
Laura is melting. Right?
brother-
Laura
brothers.
is melting.
Yeah. We enjoyed having her as a sidekick on the show.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
He's
Like,
actually
I
right here.
feel-
We'll get-
I feel like if I was reading a script and the owner, the main character had cats named Meow and Purr, I would be like, I love this character. I don't even need to know anything else.
Totally.
It's a lock in, 100% in, and nothing better happen to those cats.
That should be
So
your
that'll not
lead
be
in.
one of those horrors
Yeah.
where, yeah,
That should be your lead in with every script. Like just like the byline should be like Jonathan E Stewart, Purr, and Meow.
Exactly.
watch a movie called Purr and Meow.
There you go.
100%.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you once again. Seriously, such an honor to have you both on. Thank you to everybody watching. Leave a comment. Thank our guests. Let us know what you took away and how you did. Go follow and support all of these great writers who had the guts to share their pages. That's a really big deal and not an easy thing to do, and we're super appreciative of it. Thanks as always to Mike Morin for the art. And if you'd like to see more episodes with guests of this caliber, just keep doing what you're doing. Share, like, comment, subscribe, all the things ensures more people see it, which includes people in the industry who could make for some great future contestants. And if you're a pro or amateur screenwriter who'd like to submit a page, just check out the link in the description below or the first comment. We're always open to more submissions. And if you're an industry professional who'd like to be on a future episode, just get in touch. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.